and welcome to the Cheer Up Podcast. This is Kara Hunt with my lovely co host, Sherry Swalwell. And today we are going to be talking about summer creativities, and some of the things we like to do in the summer. And hopefully, we'll hear from you guys, like some of your favorite things to do in the summer. And that is what today's topic is going to be about. We're just continuing the trend. If you listened to the previous episode, it was talking about how to enjoy summer. And before that, about transitioning the kids to summer. So, and right now we're just wrapping up the summer series. I almost sound like I want to say summer concert series for some reason, but no, we're not singers and we don't have a band. So, no, it's just, it's just summer series. How are you this morning, Sherry?
I am fantastic. The sun has peeked through the clouds, so it's sunny on the outside and I'm sunny on the inside. How about you?
Oh, I know. It's great. It's great. And like we talked about in the previous episode, about even though our comfort levels don't necessarily agree with the temperature outside, and everything else, just how we were able to just kind of enjoy summer regardless, despite allergies, despite, everything else and things like that. And also you had issued a fun challenge. So, that'll be fun to do. And maybe we could carry it over, do something similar, at the end of this podcast. But Sherry, what are some of your kids' favorite things to do in the summer?
Wow. Well, we live on some acreage, not a lot, but enough that we kind of have a little bit of room. So one of the things we love to do is bonfires. We love to have those, even though like the middle heat of the summer, it's a little too hot to have bonfires, but like spring, early summer, late
Oh yeah.
summer, fall,
Oh, late
those are like
summer
the
is beautiful.
yes,
Bonfire. Yeah.
yes.
Mhm.
And then you've got the trees starting to turn a little bit, hopefully not too much. It's just beautiful, and it's just a time, like we've been talking about this whole series, is it's a time to slow down a little bit. It's a time to shift your focus from work, 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 to take a breath, look around, enjoy your family, enjoy the quiet time, enjoy um your friends, enjoy just a little more of a leisurely pace. Even if you're still really busy, because I know summer can be really busy for like farmers. When we grow
Oh
our
yeah.
garden, we're
Yes.
we're really busy with our garden. Some people have chickens, some people have goats. So it's not like those kind of things slow down, but it's just kind of gives you just kind of have more of a relaxed feeling to the busy, or at least that's the way it is for me. But one of the things that our family loves to do is, and we've done different things in different seasons depending on the ages, and the age groups, but one year in particular, we like to observe our Sabbath. And by that I mean, we'll go to church, and we go to church and in the morning, and then we will try to do something fun the rest of the day. So one year we would go to the beach every Sunday afternoon. Another year, we would go hiking Sunday afternoons. We would pick a different hiking trail. We always went to the same beach just because we don't have that many beaches around here, but we would try different hiking trails. And it's just a time to, like I said, just kind of slow down a little bit, have those one on one conversations with your kids as, two or three people are up ahead. Exploring, discovering more nature. As far as the beach would go, our kids would be in the water, and it would give my husband and I time to just kind of catch up over the week. Not necessarily talking about anything super in depth or anything. People watching, that is so much fun. I love to people watch, and maybe part of that is because I write fiction, and so I like to get ideas for characters, and I just kind of like to observe people's lives. But sometimes that gets me in trouble because I'll stare and I don't realize I'm staring. And so people will then look at me and they're like, hello. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm really not trying to stare at you. I'm just very interested in your life right now.
Exactly. Do not call the police on me, please. Thank you.
Exactly, exactly. But in our church used to do something really fun. Once a month, every summer, they would have and I don't even remember now what they called it, but it was a Sunday night. And after the Sunday night service, they would get pizza for everybody. And it would just be like outdoor picnic for like the entire whoever wanted to come that night. That was when we had Saturday night services, and it was just once a month, once in June, once in July, once in August, and they'd have music and they'd have ice cream. And one year they had a reptile farm come out,
Oh,
and they had snakes and alligators and bearded dragons. I know it seems kind of weird, but it was really kind of neat. And then another year they had, I mean, another month they had, I don't remember, they had all different, just all different kinds of things to just kind of build that community. So even if you don't live like if you have, if you're in the season of your life where it's just you and your husband and your kids are grown and out of the house, or if you're a widow, or if you're single and you aren't married yet, or you choose not to be married, just because you don't have other people living in your house with you doesn't mean that you can't find fun things to do, and discoveries to make, and the memories to have with your friends, and with your church, with all kinds of different things. So those were a few of the things that we really like to do. We also like to go to the zoo. We like to have a picnic first in the pavilion part, and then go walk the zoo. We love zoos. We'll travel and go visit a bunch of different zoos locally around us. We also like to take vacations, but most of our vacations we'll do in the spring or the fall, because one, we're so busy with the garden and things like that in the summer, but two, it's cheaper. So it's more economically,
budget friendly.
yes, budget friendly, and it's cooler. It's not right smack dab in the middle of the heat. Although 2 years ago, we did go and visit the Creation Museum and the Ark Encounter.
Oh,
Amazing. I would
those are
highly
still on
recommend
my
that.
those are still on my
Oh,
to-do
you
list.
gotta go. You've got to go. It was we went in the summertime, and it was so much fun. And then we don't usually buy a whole bunch of stuff when we go places, but they had a like a 5-book series, I think, of like questions and answers, and we brought it home with us because it was so fascinating, and there's so much information about creation and about just all of it, that it for me it was too much to take in a short amount of time.
So you need
So
to make another trip.
right. And so we brought the books home. We bought the books and brought them home so that we could kind of savor them. But they also have different video series that we've done with our church. The ham guy, I can't remember his first name, but the
Ken,
one yes, who created the Creation Museum, he does a video series, and we did that as a Bible study, and that was so fascinating too. That's another great thing to do in the summertime, is to do small groups. And if your kids are old enough, at least for us with our church, if they're 16 years or older, they can do them with you. And we have creative fun ones, and we also have like more serious study the word ones. So it's just I mean, like just so many different fun things that you can do that don't have to, take up a whole lot of time, but to building those memories is just priceless.
oh, I know. And like we talked about in a previous episode, the one of the reasons we're talking about summer is because we just want to enjoy God's creation. And
Absolutely.
just enjoy God's creation. And summer tends to be the most popular time for people to get out and about, and soak up some vitamin D,
Hmm.
and get go to beaches, parks, and like you mentioned, zoos and things like that. We also mentioned in previous episode, my boys were I call them water babies because they love to be anywhere near any type of water. They're very they're good swimmers. They know how to swim, and they have from a nice young age, and so they would they like to go and do things of that caliber. I'm trying to think when they were younger. Now I know a lot of the churches that we went through, so over the years, and the one that we go to now, have had vacation Bible schools.
Yes, we did that too.
Yeah,
I have great memories of that as a kid, and I have great memories of that with our kids.
oh, absolutely. And it is definitely one of those things. And I just encourage, a lot of parents out there, because and sometimes I think it helps with scheduling as well for working moms and dads. Depending on the vacation Bible school, right?
Agreed.
Yeah,
Agreed.
that completely depends on the church, who's hosting it. Because I think some are almost like 6 hours, and then there's some that are short, like 4 hours.
Ours
But
was only like 2.5 hours, and
oh
ours was
yeah,
during the day. I don't know how parents did it back then when I was a kid. Nowadays, they're more at night, which is more work
yes, I
friendly.
have noticed that too. Yes, so a lot of them are at night, and things. And so if your kids, if you're looking for something, fun and entertaining, and but still at the same time, they're getting some good Bible learning in, just really consider
Exactly.
a really good vacation Bible school. Ask your friends, family members, if they have one that they recommend, if you don't necessarily have a church home at this time. But usually you can see them all over the place. At least here,
Well,
you drive out and you see all the banners a certain time of year.
exactly. I have a
Yes.
confession to make. So I always get mixed up in the story, the parable. No, it's not a parable. Sorry, the story about Jesus feeding the 5,000. I always mix up how many fish there were and how many bread there were. And there was a song that I learned in vacation Bible school. It went, two little fishes and 5 loaves of bread. With this little bit of food, the multitude was fed. That's how if I'm trying to tell that story, I will sing that song in my head going, okay, it was 2 fish and 5 loaves.
So
Vacation Bible school works.
see there? Because it teaches you all these little catchy little things,
Yes.
and,
Yes.
and everything. And then you're like, oh, I know. Wait a minute. How did that go? And there you go. And then when you're
Yep.
sharing the story, you're like, oh, I remember now.
Exactly.
So that is always something fun. I just want to throw that out there. And like you mentioned, some churches, depending on the age of your teenager, may be able to volunteer.
I volunteered in high school, all 4 years of high school, and it was one of my most favorite memories.
Oh, yes. And like I say, depending on the church would depend on how old you need to be. But yeah, lots of teenagers, because usually during vacation Bible school, so much is going on.
Oh,
So,
absolutely.
so much is going on. And I mean that and like activities and events and shows and all those different type of things that the kids get to arts and crafts, that the kids get to participate in, that they're always looking for anyone that can assist them.
Absolutely. There's snack, there's games, there's just taking kids and, putting a band-aid on if they got hurt
Yes.
playing kickball. Yep.
Mhm. You know, and just all of those things. And I think your teenager will be surprised with how much they enjoy it.
I loved it. I loved it. I have such great memories of doing that every year. And we didn't have it at our church. We did like backyard Bible schools. So we would go into neighborhoods.
Oh, how fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, and see, well, that's like that's almost like a missionary in a way.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of that, that's another great thing for your teenagers to do in the summer. I used to go on missions trips all
Oh,
the time, and our kids go on one at our church. But I went to Utah one year. I went to Mexico one year. It was life changing.
it is, and it's definitely one of those things. And I think a lot of people, when they think of missions, like, oh, I don't want my child going to Africa, India, all China, all these other different places. And no, most churches have local missions, meaning I shouldn't say local. Well, they do have local, but I mean statewide.
Well,
State
ours is
stateside.
actually here in our city.
Yeah.
Our kids spend a week or 3 days or whatever loving on and helping and making a difference right here in our city.
Oh, yes. And that is just such a wonderful thing to do. And I remember a friend of mine, daughter, I think, this is some years back, as a teenager. One of the things that I think that teenagers can do, especially if they have a serving heart, also is, and if they're driving age, find out who the local, who your neighboring senior citizens are.
Absolutely.
And especially if you're driving age, um, just go knock on their door, tell them who you are, you know, um, and that if they need errands to be ran, if they just need to be taken to the doctor or something like that, or if they just need you to go to the grocery store for them.
What a great, great way to serve.
It is. And it's like, it's, like I said, driving age, obviously, but, because a lot of seniors, especially now during the pandemic, they may need to want to go to the store, but, they just don't want to go, for varying reasons and, health issues. And I mean, it's awesome to just sit up there and just, have, a teenager who you recognize from your neighborhood, and just say, and nowadays you can call in a grocery order and all they have to do is pick it up.
Right.
You can call it in, you can pay for it. You don't even have to give the teenager any money. If that's what, if that, be a case. And if you don't want your teenager being responsible for someone else's money, a lot of times it can be called in and paid for ahead of time, but your teenager can go and pick it up for them.
That's right.
And possibly put the groceries up for them.
Oh, that's huge. People, I don't think about that aspect of it, but I think that is so helpful.
Absolutely. Or like I said, if they just need to run to a doctor's appointment and everything else. Now, I think this would not just enrich, obviously, the senior citizen is getting blessed because they have some help, but I just think your teenager would just enjoy it tremendously because they are getting a chance to talk with, chat with, meet, and hear about the life of someone who've lived a lot of years.
Mm-hmm.
And learned a lot of life. And not only that, sometimes there are some elderly who just love the company.
Oh, absolutely.
And even if you don't do anything for them, take them lunch.
Yes.
Or ask them what they like for lunch. Maybe you can make them a ham sandwich at home and an apple and, and take it over there and just chat for an hour. So that is something when teenagers say they're bored, ask them to, the best way to stop being bored is to get involved, stop thinking of boredom and me is to go and help someone else.
Oh, absolutely. When I was in the most depressed stage of my life, what God put upon my heart was get out of yourself and serve somebody else. And it always, without fail. I mean, it didn't take my depression away. God had to miraculously heal that, but it was part of the healing process, I believe, because I was willing to choose to step away from me and serve someone else. And it inevitably every single time lifts your spirits. And it doesn't even, I'm not even saying because you're being thanked or because people appreciate you. Serving others just naturally lifts your spirits.
It really does. And especially if you're helping someone who needs the help,
Exactly.
And I mean, it doesn't even with people who, who don't need help, but as well, but especially if you're just helping someone out and you're asking for nothing in return,
Yeah.
And it's, and just I mentioned earlier how the teenagers can just learn so much from someone who've lived so much of life, but also that person that they're helping can learn a lot about the teenagers nowadays.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah. And, even help, my mother is constantly calling my nephew her grandson because she tries to push buttons on the television and she'll inevitably the television or her phone, and inevitably she'll end up with it speaking a foreign language. Okay. Because she pushed, help me. I can't. They're speaking another language. How do I put it back on English? And, Kyle's, he's like, well, what did she push? What did you push? What did you do? And she's like, I don't know. Just come help. And she do the same thing with her phone and whatnot. So sometimes it just helps to have them around to just help you do little things like that.
Oh, absolutely.
And honestly,
I need help with our TV.
I know. I need help. It's like, I need help like that. So you don't need to be a senior to have that type of help, but I'm just saying, and then, just find out what's going on in the young people's lives too. Because sometimes teenagers feel like there's things they can't tell their mom and dad and that they really don't want to share with their friends, but then they could have someone, an older confidant who could perhaps give them wisdom and advice. So I just want that to be something that, to throw out there is definitely an option.
Oh, and it goes back to the very first podcast we did in this series is that relationship with that older generation, whether it's your own grandparents or adopted grandparents, is priceless.
It is absolutely priceless, and both generations benefit.
Absolutely. And that kind of goes into the next aspect, or the second part of our podcast today, about being intentional. I don't know about you, Kara, but for me, I think one of the things that I took away from the pandemic was not taking life for granted anymore, not taking the moments for granted anymore. And we've talked, I mean, if you've listened to any of the podcasts, you know that I'm a homebody. So I loved having everybody home surrounding me. So it wasn't like I was grieving, getting to be out and about and all the activities that were shut down. That's not it. It was just more of, I had that slowdown like you get in the summertime, that I had that opportunity to just really look up and appreciate God's creation, all of the blessings that God has given to us on a daily basis. And that's the other part that we want to talk about today is how to be intentional, and being intentional without spending a lot of money necessarily. I mean, you can do it spending money too. There's no problem with that, or no issue with that, but you don't have to spend money to be intentional and to appreciate what God has given you. So, for instance, it can be as simple as taking ingredients that you have around your house and doctoring up your iced tea, putting fresh fruit in it, or putting milk in your lemonade,
Yeah.
or picking flowers that are around your house, or wildflowers that don't belong to anybody, so you're not stealing, and putting them in your house instead of just enjoying them outside. Bringing the outside in that way. Or like we've loved to hang out on our deck now. We grab a cold drink, we grab a book, and sometimes we sit and read quietly, and we just enjoy each other's company silently. And sometimes we sit and, like you with your family, and just talk for hours and hours and hours. So those are some of the things that we like to do. And you talked about how your family likes movies. Um, our family, I think it was 3 years ago, um, we started watching a series with our kids. They were older. The series was on TV when they were young, and so they were always in bed. And so I think we got it from the library. I don't even think we owned it. And we just started watching it with them one day, and it became like our family thing. So whenever it was too hot to be outside, because that was the year there was a drought and it was so hot. We spent the whole 4th of July day, instead of outside doing 4th of July activities, in our house watching the series because it was so hot. But that became like a really fun thing that our family looked forward to. We intentionally took the time. And then, if that isn't fun enough, our son asked for the whole series for Christmas. He took it to college, and he started that tradition with his college roommates. Like, how fun is that?
I know, right? And see, sometimes it's just the little things that you come across,
Exactly.
that you could do. And me personally, when and this isn't necessarily inexpensive, but the one thing, when we did go to amusement parks and things like that, I always love to ride the old wooden roller coasters. Do not ask me why, but I like the roller coasters. And if you ever see me at any amusement park, it's usually because I'm there for the roller coasters. Okay.
How fun.
And you probably won't see me on any other ride, because um, I, don't know. You just won't see me mainly on any other rides, but chances are you'll see me coming out of a roller coaster line. And my son also has that love for roller coasters. And apparently there is a place in Ohio that's known for its crazy roller coasters. And I think that's all it has, some type of amusement park or something.
Oh, wow.
And I think it's in a place called Sandusky or something like that. But he went there a couple of times with just like a group of his friends, and they would just simply do like the roller coasters.
Was it Cedar Point? Because Cedar Point's in Sandusky.
Is it? You know what? I wonder if that's it. Okay.
We've been there quite a few times. In fact, here's a plug. They have a thing called Point Fest in the fall. It's like a humongous Christian concert. So you go during the day for the amusement park on a Saturday, I think it is. You enjoy the park all day long, and then all night you have, like, one year there was Toby Mac for King and Country. Dave Crowder, and a bunch of other people. So when our kids turned 16, when our oldest turned 16, we all went. The younger two and I stayed back at the hotel, and my husband and the 16-year-old had a day. Like that was their, you know how
Aw.
we talked about like bar mitzvahs and coming of age?
Yes.
That
Yes.
was their coming of age, or his coming of age. And then the next time when our middle one turned 16, I stayed with the oldest and the youngest. He took the middle, and that was her coming of age. And they got to see For King and Country and Toby Mac and somebody else. And I think, I don't remember. I'll have to ask because I wasn't a part of it. Obviously, I was back at the water park with the other two. But yeah. So I bet it was Cedar Point. Cedar Point is very fun.
And see, and that's what I'm saying. Just like the way you guys split that up, right?
Yeah.
You were having fun with like the younger ones, or you guys would go back and forth, and and everything else. And it's just being creative,
Yes, exactly.
why you can't.
And making kids feel special, or making people in the family feel special. It doesn't have to just be your kids all the time, but
Oh,
making a
absolutely.
certain, yeah, celebrating accomplishments, the coming of age. We just took our daughter, all of us 2 weeks ago went out to dinner, lunch, to celebrate her new job. And the reason why we celebrated that job particularly was because she ended up getting it because she was such a great example. The boss, her new boss, watched her for the last 6 to 8 weeks take care of her grandfather, was so impressed with her that she didn't even have an actual real interview because he'd interviewed her for the last 6 to 8 weeks,
Oh,
just
wow.
watching her. And
Mhm.
he asked her to come, and this is going to be an opportunity for her to see if this is really what she wants to do for the rest of her life. So we celebrated not just the fact that she got a different job, we celebrated her character. We celebrated the fact that her character spoke volumes
And
over
you
her
know
life.
what? And that's what matters, right? To do
Hmm.
the right thing and the good thing. And I think that truly shows your heart. And not just when people are watching, but when people are not, I mean, when you don't even know people are watching.
Right. She had no idea this
Yeah.
guy owned a retirement home or a nursing home. She had no idea at first. I mean, she found out as they were talking, but
Uh-huh.
never in a million years was she even remotely thinking that he was hiring or that he was watching her and impressed with what she was doing. She was just taking care of her grandfather.
And see, and that's what I'm saying. And it's like, so he just, and of course, when you see that, and you know that they don't know that you're watching, you know,
Right.
and
Right.
see how they care, how they treat, you know, um, and help nurture, people. And of course, you're just drawn to that type of character and that personality, and you just can't help
Absolutely.
but be blessed by it. So absolutely, yes, that was a great idea of celebrating those little bitty things. And in the summer is a great time to just celebrate those type of things, or celebrating for no reason at all.
Exactly. Sometimes just trying something new. Last weekend, we, for the very first time ever, our family of five did an escape room.
Oh
So
yeah.
much fun.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Okay, we didn't really know what we were doing. So if we asked for a hint, you get 3 freebie hints, at least at this place, and before you have to get time taken off. If we had asked for the hint at the very beginning instead of standing around going, we're not really sure what we're doing, and the game master after 10 minutes said, do you need some help? And we're like, yeah, I think so. If we had gotten help at the very beginning, I think we would have solved it because we were literally that close.
It's
But that's okay because now we'll go back. I mean, just the experience was incredible. And it just helps you like build that working together mentality. Like our family works really well together. Like we if there's a task in front of us, whether it was taking our son and setting him up in his dorm for the first time,
oh
whether
right.
it was working in the church nursery, we worked in the church nursery for 3 or 4 years together, the five of us. We
Mhm.
just work really well together, whether it's a project around the house, whatever. So it was really kind of neat to try to do the escape room. And once we got our groove, once we kind of had a clue of what we were doing, we were able to like, okay, we'll work on this part, you work on this part, we all have to work on this part. It was just really neat to just watch because I mean our kids are a lot older now than they were when we were working in the nursery, so they aren't being instructed by us like they had to at that time of you need to do this, you need to do that. Now it's they're um just as initiating the suggestions as we do. So it's just really kind of neat how it all develops over time.
Oh, I know. And again, and like you said, that point in your life, sometimes it's just you and your loved one.
Yep.
Sometimes it could just be you and your kids, older or younger. Um, and it's just finding that little niche, that groove that you like to do. If you and your family, whoever you're, spending the summer with, like music, definitely go to music concerts.
Oh,
Go
yeah.
to music concerts. If they're more into arts and crafts, and you know how to use a glue gun, then make stuff together. you know,
Right. How
yeah,
fun.
just do different things like that. Just things that just help bring you together, and or even just put up a camera and just be entertaining. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Just create your own little skits, and things like that. It's just always something to do. Like I said, whether you're helping someone, and I know one of my sons used to mow lawns for people, during the summer.
Oh, that is wonderful.
Yeah, and so I mean, there's just always all sorts of things, to be able to do. This year, like I said, our sons are adults now, and this will be something new for us because we'll be going camping. Technically, we have a travel trailer, so it's not like we're going to be tent camping. I'm not doing that again. Let me put it.
How fun.
Let me put it this way: I don't think anyone will do it with me again. Okay. I yes, I I tease it. My idea of roughing it is the Holiday Inn. Okay, because I like my comfort. Okay, so I really do like my comfort, and me sleeping on the ground, um, and in a sleeping bag, and it just was not fun for the people around me. And then you add to the fact that I don't know. I guess that was the time I realized that I have an unnatural fear of raccoons. I don't like them.
Aw.
I mean, I don't hate them. I'm not a raccoon hater or anything like that. It's just that, oh my word, I just did not know they were capable of so much.
Yes,
You
they are
know,
sneaky little
they're
creatures.
not cute little. They're not just as cute as you think they are. I mean,
No.
they can be quite dangerous. You
Yes.
know,
Yes.
they look like you just want to go up to them and pet them like a little, a kitten or something. But oh no, 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 no,
Uh-uh.
no, no, no. They can be quite menacing. Let me put it that way. So, but we have a trailer that our adult sons and could come in, and when they get married, their wives can come in and travel. And we're just looking forward to doing. We were just talking about the other day, just doing something, as a family and traveling together, and then it'll be fun just spending time, with the guys in tight quarters.
Yes.
Well, in the
Yes.
evening, most of the time, chances are they'll be doing something. And but what will be taking me out of my comfort zone is because I am so embarrassed to admit this, but I have not ridden a bike. That was incorrect English. I have not rode a bike since I was a teenager. It has literally been that long. So I am really, my husband and I were talking about getting me a bike because they all have bicycles, and getting me a bike and just actually start bike riding again. And so that is like something. I mean, it was great to do when I was younger because I had, the energy and the stamina. So it'll be a little bit different, doing it again now. So that's kind of something I'm kind of looking forward to. But I can't believe it's been, the old saying, you never forget how to ride a bike.
Right.
Uh,
Right.
well, I'll let you know.
Well, that helps tie us up so well today, Kara, because I am going to issue that second challenge that you were talking about. So Kara is going to learn how to ride a bike this summer, or relearn how to ride a bike. She'll let us know which one it is.
I'll let you know.
So I am going to ask you, listeners, what is one activity that maybe would put you outside your comfort zone, maybe that you've done in the past and you enjoyed and you want to do it again? What is one activity that you can do? Because we're kind of now almost towards the end of June. We have one more week in June, but we still have 9 weeks of summer left because all of July, all of August, and next week in June. So what is one activity that you would love to incorporate into the last 9 weeks of your summer? Well, I would love it. We would love it if you would email us at cheeruppodcast@gmail.com and let us know, or head over and follow us on Cheer Up Podcast, the Facebook group. You can leave a comment there. Just let us know what it is that you're doing that you're enjoying. Maybe it's picking wildflowers and creating bouquets. Isn't that what they're called? Or flower arrangements. There we go. We'll call them flower arrangements in your home. Maybe it's crafting and coming up with Christmas wreaths and delivering them to your friends. Maybe it's riding a bike. Maybe it's taking hikes. Maybe it's walking every day for 30 minutes. Whatever it is, we would love to hear about it. So email us, comment on our Facebook group. However you want to get a hold of us, we would love to hear from you. These things I have spoken to you, says Jesus, that in me you may have peace. In the world you will have tribulation, but be of good cheer. I have overcome the world. John 16:33. Last summer probably looks a bit different from this summer. Last summer, there was more uncertainty, and there were other things going on. And I guess my prayer for everybody today is that you will find one way that you can be intentional and just thank God for the blessings around you. Whether it's something that you see that you can appreciate more. Like for me, a few weeks ago, I talked about the budding of the trees and how they bud out like maroonish and then they turn into the green leaves. Maybe it's something that you're smelling. Like maybe you live by the lake or the ocean or a beach, and you never really, like, you just took for granted that saltwater smell or that fresh lake smell. Maybe you can reappreciate that again. Maybe it's hearing the birds outside. Maybe you live in the city and you can appreciate other sounds instead. Whatever it is, I would really love to encourage you to just cast your cares on God, give him your worries, give him the burdens, and just ask him for his peace to settle over you so that you can look up and appreciate all of the blessings that he gives to us. If he's willing to give us something as beautiful and simple as a flower, don't you think that he's also willing to take care of that heavy burden that's on your heart, whether it's for a loved one, whether it's for yourself, whether it's for a relationship, your finances, a diagnosis, whatever it is? Don't you think that God loves you enough if he's willing to give us the beauty of a flower, of animals, of grass, of our own bodies? Maybe that's what it is. Maybe you just appreciate the fact that you can move. That's just what I want to leave you with today. You can go over and visit Kara's website, KaraRHunt.com. Check out all the awesome things over there. You can come over to my website. You can ask me for a speaking engagement, either virtual or in person. You can check out my different books at SherrySwalwell.com, CherisWallwell.com. And just want you to cheer up. We'd love to hear from you. And next week, we're going to talk about the 4th of July. So I hope you'll join us again, and we will see you all next week. Bye-bye.